because
Let's
Kiaya
go.
was so incredible on
Let's
Aurora
go.
in their victory both
Alright.
games. So getting
Monkey
that
Man
out of the way,
Circus
I think
Day
is going
2.
to be the case
Monkey
in
Man
every game in the
Circus
series.
lower
It's so interesting,
bracket.
though, you know, are you going to be getting out
If
some
the
of the
people
Summit
here
champs here?
lose,
Because, you know, he's so
they are
well-known
out
champions
of the
like his Gnar,
tournament.
like his Jace, you know, these types of champs.
Elimination Series.
Available. Obviously, you know, has a very good Renekton as well.
Alright.
So not worried about it just
Summit,
yet. Is
the god,
No, we
the
have
ancient god himself,
generally safe
the
fans.
sexy
The only
Summit.
strange one I'd say would be the LeBlanc, but
Finally, Aurora is
the fact
banned.
that he won the last
Breedable
game to
Bunny
qualify for this series
is
by
banned.
playing the LeBlanc makes the ban
Alright.
valid.
It'll be interesting to see
Banning
what
LeBlanc and
audience
Orion. I don't know why we banned the
both these guys were
LeBlanc.
going
It
pretty
didn't
heavily
look good
towards
last
team
game.
fighting junglers. You know, we saw a Wukong and a Shyvana for Levi, and we saw the Nocturne Orion combo, which they executed so well over for Audi as well as the
Tomorrow.
Brand Wukong, right? So it's very
PSG.
much that team fight style. Rumble
PSG.
has still remained pretty high prio, yet to get a single win
PSG.
though at the play-in stage. It's 0-4.
Ooh,
I think the
another
nerfs
S.
champion were actually massive. When you take 20 damage off of your main damage ability at level 1, like that is huge, and the E was also nerfed. So we'll see if Kiaya is able to get the first win on the board here for Rumble.
Rumble has 0% win rate, by the way.
Kiaya's been such
That's
a good Rumble in the
insane.
past, so I can understand why he goes for it. I also think that when you're against Summit,
I'm really scared for his
you're
lane.
maybe trying to neutralize him, thinking that the Rumble's going to be able to get perma-shove and maybe take him out a bit. But if you fall even a little bit behind against Summit, and he's, I'm going to say, the best laner in play, not overall like best.
Ooh, another
overall
Gnar, let's
in
go.
the laning phase, I'd say he's the best in playing, and the Gnar is right up his.
And I'll be right back. I'm gonna let it
You're
play.
giving him his most comfortable champion ever. Like, this is his most played champion in pro play in his career. He has 71 games on the Gnar. This is a champion, you know, across all the regions he's played in, that he was really, really known for just being so dominant on. He's known for pushing the limit to the absolute maximum, for getting shoved, for harassing you under your tower so incredibly well. And it is, again, going to be the Shyvana here for Levi. He did play it yesterday, and you know, was able to win with it. Yone coming out here as well, which we haven't seen as much as I actually expected at the play-in stage. This is going to be the 4th Yone pick thus far, but definitely a really strong pairing here, especially when you have a lot of AP on the top side.
So much playmaking, and I think their ability to actually combo and win team fights with those three is very high, but at the same time, it's not a huge amount of
Oh,
CC.
Shyvana and Yon! Let's go!
Again, because
this is so hype! This is so hype! This is so hype! This is so hype!
Jungler in their VCS finals. It doesn't really do much until level 6, but once he was actually applying pressure on the map yesterday, it was dominant.
Yeah, I mean, it can farm incredibly fast, obviously. You know, that is kind of one of the major strengths. The team fighting can be quite powerful. You know, he did go with the Shojin Leandry's build last time he played it. That can be quite strong. You're just resetting that E cooldown, try to get as many of those out as you can. You know, obviously stacking up the damage with that Shojin. Every time you cast a spell, it's increasing the damage of those subsequent spells. And Shyvana definitely can be a threat, but I will say, Ezreal, not the easiest target to dive onto. Of course, Kaynee here on the Syndra is going to be under, I think, a lot of pressure between the Yone and that Shyvana, as well as, you know, Equalizer and everything coming over the top. It just feels like already with the first 3 picks, Gam have locked themselves into playing essentially like a Wombo combo style comp, right? Where it's going to be all about the ultimates, and if you can land those ultimates perfectly, then their teamfight's going to go really, really well. If any of them start to miss, then you kind of fall off, you know, where they have a lot of consistent damage, and your teamfight's a disaster.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what R7 goes for their support pick here, just because a couple of the engaged supports have been banned away, and you would almost think that Braum would have high value because of how heavily their dive is on the side of Gam.
I'd also say, though, like, just taking a Rel, you know, and taking that away from them.
Rels look good.
Because Rel is so strong, and Rel also sets up perfectly for the Rumble, right? Like, to me, it's interesting that you do go towards that Wukong. It tells me that they want to pick for the winning 2v2 in bot, right? That Lions is trying to save that support pick for last to prioritize that 2v2, because obviously you could have got Wukong on 5th pick. It is going to be Poppy and MF, so a lot of early power in the lane. Poppy's base damages are incredibly high. We have seen that come out a little bit already at play-ins. Mostly we've been seeing like Aftershock, but you can even go Hail of Blades, of course, and really ramp up that damage. Braum, as you called out, would be a good answer to a lot of this engage. You got 4 melee champions that are looking to dive. You have this Braum to stand in front of that Ezreal, keep him safe. You're looking over at the potential counter engage from something like a Wukong. I think R7 have set themselves up incredibly well in this first game. Gam, it's going to be all hit or miss. Like, yes, you have incredible ultimates and really a lot of power there, but the setup is pretty bad. Like, there's not any sort of guaranteed thing. You're really depending on, like, a Yone ult to hit first, or Poppy to, like, flash in and knock someone up with the R. Like, you don't have any Alistar or Rel or Leona or Nautilus to lock them down in the equalizer and the bullet time. And MF without any setup is usually really, really weak.
It absolutely is. So I'm liking the draft here from Rainbow 7.
I heavily favor their draft.
If they get one game, they'd be one game away from making their first Swiss stage ever. This is a really historic matchup for them. I think controlling their own nerves within this game is going to be absolutely crucial. I think, weirdly enough, Gam is more likely to be the calm ones in this one. I think a lot of Gam was probably expecting to play against 100 Thieves in this game. They just need to make sure they don't let up because they're playing against Rainbow 7.
Yeah, we'll see how they're going to be able to perform here. And I got to say, nameplates off, I think Rainbow 7's draft wins like 8 out of 10 games. I think that draft is heavily, heavily favored. I really like what they brought out. You know, they have impressed thus far at the World's Play-In stage, and we'll see if they can continue that trend here as we're going to be heading on into game number 1. And remember, log into your Riot account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds Live to earn exclusive emotes, Worlds icons, and capsules. Get on there if you're not already doing it. There's also a really cool overlay now that they have in Twitch and through that VOD where you can actually see you know, the skill order and all kinds of different stuff that's going on in game.
5-man invade with Braum. If they find anyone to tag with Q, it could burn a flash early or get a kill. Defensive line set up from Gam, but I'm expecting R7 to be able to get a ward. Got to be careful placing it in Poppy's face since they can see the Poppy sweeper. Yep, so they decide not to ward.
Yep. Everything looking pretty normal as far as the runes do go. Going to be Grasp before Summit. Of course, the Fleet nerfs have really pushed a lot of range champions away from Fleet. You know, so many more people are experimenting with Grasp on a number of different champions. We've seen Grasp Aurora, we've seen Grasp Vayne, we've seen all kinds of different stuff there. As Kiaya trying to get that information, the ward not actually spotted there, unfortunately, as they do use the sweeper. So they're going to have full info here of exactly what R7's start is.
Ooh, yep, they get to see Summit as well. So ward paying off a little bit. We got to see if this Rumble pick ends up paying off against Summit. He's looking for maybe a cheeky E or something, decides to back out of that bush early.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was an angle for that Electro Harpoon, get in the early comet, bit of damage, but Summit intelligently just walks on the other side of the minions, and that was that.
Two most important things I'll see in this early game is really just tracking the top lane. Summit has been absolutely lane gapping people in his regional finals and also yesterday against Sniper. You'd see the MasterCard lane economy snapshot and it will be Summit 600 gold up, everyone else in R7 slightly behind. But then I also just want to see how easily Levi can get to level 6. Because yesterday, not only did he get to level 6 with the game still in a good state, he'd also taken a Drake on the Shyvana, which is extra powerful on that champion, and from there he took over the game.
Honestly, I think he's going to get to 6 pretty easily. Wukong is one of those kind of farming heavy junglers as well. As Elio not quite able to have that Braum passive procced on him multiple times. Easy Love stepping forward. Had a really good couple games on the Jhin in their previous series. That quadra kill, I believe it was, to end that final game. Was looking really good, and now they have pressure here through bot, getting that early push, and that could help Levi to get another early dragon for himself. Yeah,
and I think Shyvana really is the X factor in this game because we like R7's team composition, but we just haven't seen that much Shyvana, and I feel like, especially yesterday, he was winning some of these fights in a landslide, stacking up his ultimate extremely fast. There were some fights where he was landing like 5 or 6 empowered E's, just completely controlling the map. And it was drawing bans and getting picked away in his regional final. So it's definitely like a Gam specialty and a Levi specialty.
I mean, it's a good point, right? You know, if you do hit that ulti E, it is so powerful. And if you hit multiple, you're doing so much damage. If you're missing them, your champion doesn't really do anything.
And if you fall behind, you look bad.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons they've been able to get so much practice on it, because generally speaking in the VCS, they were running over people. Vikings was the best team in the VCS in the regular season, but in the playoffs, Gam beat them in back-to-back best-of-5s. But they were just both so head and shoulders above the rest of the region that they were teams that were able to front-run in a lot of situations. I like one of the quotes from the video before today where they were saying, like, these teams are really the reference for their region, right? We've seen Audi represent the LLA so many times at the World Championship. We've seen Levi represent his region at the World Championship so often, and also getting to do it on a signature Shyvana is just really cool.
It is really cool, and I fully agree, because a lot of these regions, these smaller regions, are absolutely dominated by a team, right? There's players who have just run the region for so long, guys like Audi. I mean, you think of, LJL, guys like, Evie, who has won, I think, like 12 LJL titles or something ridiculous. Like Levi has won something like 8 VCS titles. These ridiculous amounts of times that they have won. It's kind of like you're on a team with them, you're just going to win, right? They have been so good for so long, and here we have this jungle matchup, Levi versus Audi. These guys have been around forever and really have been playing at a very high level since that time.
It's going to be very fun to track them, as they're both on junglers who don't do much before level 6. So it's a bit of a handshake in terms of their ability to farm up. A lot of aggressive play coming down in the bot lane, but not much coming of it.
Yeah, Poppy is one of those champions where it's like you do have a lot of that early game power, but they kind of have to agree to fight you almost sometimes. We'll see how
quite early game.
Later.
Quite early game. Sorry, I haven't said much.
Champions, if we can find that perfect angle, find the flash in, stun them against the wall, find that
Friends
pick,
going
really
through.
can look incredible. But
Colleague's going through a rough patch. His 18-year-old cat is getting euthanized next week.
Do anything, right?
Feels bad, man.
Presence, so you have to really know the limits of the champion. If you're not
18 years is like 130 in human years, so it's like,
Levi actually
that's
undetected into this bush. Can't do much as a level 5 Shyvana, but they don't know he's there. As actually, Audi was thinking about starting the Drake. Really strange positioning. There's nothing for him to do. He's jobless at the moment, so he's cleared the jungle so fast.
He's jobless,
in
Jesus.
case the Wukong arrives.
Exactly. Just trying
Poor
to
jugglers.
him, make sure that he has that cover, help him get the reset. In these melee versus range matchups, can be difficult in the early levels, so he's just trying to help him get that push. Easy Love getting jumped on here. Lions not connect with the Winter's Bite, unfortunately. Otherwise, they could have maybe gone for more, forced out a cleanse or something, but Easy Love, nice little sidestep, is able to hang on as Ilio heading down to bot once again. And R7 moving over to the Dragon. It has been spotted by Gam, but it looks like it's just going to be a trade for grubs, and Summit's aware of it because he did board it. Yeah,
it's given, though. There is Rumble, push in the top lane. Levi is going to be hitting level 6 soon. He won't get the Drake, but he still will have a smooth ride to level 6. And the other thing that we were tracking in this early game was how Kiaya was going to be doing against Summit. So far, it seems fine. He's had push for a lot of that lane, never been in danger of a death.
I gotta go check on the meat. I'll be right back. But hey, Dragon Vs R7 is good, denying stats to Shyvana. But Gam has a pretty good pushing game style, so grubs are going to be pretty fucking useful for them.
Because Rumble struggles in those sustained fights against Gnar, especially in a long side lane. You can't really 100-0 a Gnar, unless you're way ahead of him, and then all of a sudden, he's healing up, he's proccing Mega Gnar, he's getting that health back, he's has the hyper to chase you down, and it can get really tough.
Level 6 for Levi's Shyvana.
Lions here, just helping KNE push this out. Can use the Targon's charges there. Use that support item, getting to execute on that cannon, so it's going to be able to push that in. It means Emo is going to miss much more of this wave because got pushed in so incredibly fast. Emo already down a good 9 CS, and will be losing at the very least the cannon. Yeah, I mean, I will say, though, Seo's getting denied in the bot lane as well, and the red buff as well as the Raptors have been counter-jungled. So I understand wanting to deny a little bit of Yone, but I think overall Gam wins out slightly on that overall trade. Yeah, not looking too bad. Easy Love taking some damage there on the bot side, but does have the Vamp Scepter already, plus Call and Deep Blade, so a lot of healing already in the kit. So that Ezreal poke not going to be nearly as threatening, but Seo doing a good job, landing quite a bit of it. You can see Elio just kind of constantly going forward, trying to land a Q, and then eating back to the minions before the Braum passive can stun you. So nice little play from him there. Something Gam did well yesterday, I felt, was play around their item spikes really well. So they've been pretty stable. I think we both really like the structure of R7's team comp, but if Gam can fight on the right power spikes, I think that's the way into this game. They have yet to complete kind of their major items, but they're still farming extremely well, right? They've been able to get enough push in the top lane. Mid lane has been completely even in farm.
And with the Cull Vamp Scepter early build by the Misfortune, as well as being able to get this plate, it's like they're getting these micro advantages, and they're really going to try and turn a big fight, I think, when they get their first core items on everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, draft is important. It gives you an advantage, but draft I always look at it as like a force multiplier, right? So at the end of the day, if a team is playing better, you can eliminate any advantage that someone else has gained from the draft. And Gam definitely are going to have their chances, are going to have their opportunities to make those big plays on these champions. Just worry, if R7 is positioned properly, if they're spread properly, can they get the most value out of these ultimates, which really are the defining characteristics of a lot of their champions.
I'd say Audie's lost a lot of efficiency to Levi early on in this game.
So it's going to be
counter jungled and then coming up empty-handed on his own attempt at counter jungling.
Yeah, I think it was.
Don't know if it's Rocket Belt or Leandri.
So they're playing pretty safely here. It might just be an ulti
Probably
on the wave if they get nervous, and it's going to be just that. As they weren't sure if they were going to look for a dive. I think that Audie was probably backing off, but Levi in the area. We'll see if he spots out this big board, and he does. And had the information that they're not coming to collapse on him again because of that same ward.
Right.
Summit, though, he's going to mega out. Kiaya doesn't get tagged by the board.
I feel like second Ghost Launch is going to be pretty important.
Yeah, individual laning and sidesteps seem really sharp for Gam so far. They've definitely had a few situations. Easy Love in the bot lane, just sidestepping Braum Qs, Kiaya, sidestepping some of Summit's engages right there, and then Levi just being incredibly efficient with his pathing. Counter jungling, moving back towards the top side. Will have an opportunity to clear top to bot if he wants to, or stick around for additional grubs. Ooh. And then Emo even keeping the CS relatively close, even though the Syndra has been getting some assistance and seeming to be played with a lot of confidence from Kaney.
Yeah, Kaney doing a really good job as non-stop and harassing him, trying to keep him down, trying to bully him out as much as possible. TP is back up though, so Emo did a good job. He hung around just long enough, survived just long enough that he could base with TP up. So gonna lose one melee minion, honestly, who cares? And at the first plate, I don't think that Kaney actually was in range to get that gold. I think it was off of a recall, unfortunately for him. So we'll see if he can cash in on that second plate, but grubs are spawning up. Elio's already up here, and we'll see if they go for it.
And look at that, the first completed item of the game is the Spear of Sojin on the Shyvana. So he's been power farming, he's been extremely efficient, and he's gonna have the empowered E up and able to fire frequently if they fight at these grubs.
Yeah, and we'll see if that is that difference maker there, as they would love to get these 6 grubs. I mean, I think they absolutely should fight here, but Audie gonna get a good engage onto Kiaya. Kiaya trying to get back to the team, drops the equalizers. Audie's gone over the wall. They don't know where he is just yet. Now they get that information. Levi popped the ulti pretty early here, but
holy shit! The Yono grabs the Syndra, but Kiaya's getting fucked in the background.
Get it done. Summon over the wall. It's a flash to follow from Levi. As on the other side, it's Emo cleaning up the fight. It's Gam time, baby. Over at the grubs, they're winning the fight, and they're gonna get more maybe here. Can't quite chase him down, but it's a 6 grub game, it's looking like, for Gam. They outfight R7, and they come up huge.
And that's what we're talking about from Gam, understanding their power spikes. Yes, they get engaged on, but Levi didn't even have the perfect entry to that fight, and he still cleaned up with Shyvana E after Shyvana E. It's basically like an ultimate power level spell, yet he just gets to use it multiple times a fight.
Yeah, I mean, he had the fully stacked Shojin there. He got the 4 stacks very quickly. You rotate through the spells, and then you're getting so much bonus damage on that E from it. Really was a difference maker, as we can see this fight one more time.
Yeah, Kiaya gets engaged on, does return some damage, but mainly just delays the overall fight. And I'd say this counter engage there by Kaney to get Kiaya low enough looked like it might do something, but then it's really just Levi being able to chase the back end of this fight. Look at that E right onto the Wukong, and he should be getting this Drake as well.
Looks like he's going to be able to secure it, and now he wants more. The Dragon is ready. He
Holy
flies
shit.
in and is just roasting up R7, but in comes Seo. Kaney's back here as well. Emo trying to get out. Seo looking for more. Lion's in trouble, as is Audie. He's going to jump over the wall. Easy Love looks for the ultimate, finds nothing. Easy Love flashes in, still can't find a thing. Levi's dead. Easy Love's in the middle of 4, and he's in trouble. The Braum passive is there. Kaney cleans up. Elio on the side. Gam bite off way more than they can chew, and R7 punish him for it.
They are back. The margins on that fight were so close. It looked like less than 100 health from that final E from Levi is the difference between a 3-for-0 on either side. That fight brings them completely back in the game. 6 grubs on the side of Gam, getting the shutdown onto Levi. I think he's still going to be a problem this game, but R7 came to play.
Yeah, I mean, Gam just were a little bit disjointed on that fight. There were so many low health bars on R7, they kind of got baited in I mean, Easy Love even, he couldn't find the bullet time, so he just flashes over the wall, but they weren't really there at the same time. And then Elio even coming back, trying to actually reinforce, but he's so low that Kaney just kills him with one scatter. So, definitely bit off too much, but we know they are capable of making these big plays, and we'll see if they can continue to do that. R7, though, definitely going to be feeling confident now.
Looks like they're not going to be able to capitalize much off of their 6 grubs either in terms of Gam. They still have full plates on mid and top, and we're going to see one of the things that helped R7 in this fight was the interrupted teleport by Summit's Gnar, and then watching this through one more time, Levi, the start of this fight just seemed like it was going to be
holy fuck!
Win for them, but
that engage was so cool!
The final hit, the blast cone really just trolls Gam, to be completely honest, sending them everywhere. And yeah, as you mentioned, that flash was not ideal.
Yeah, and I mean, Easy Love just kind of guessed where they were. If he had flashed in and still had the bull time, maybe it looks pretty different, but not able to quite find it there. And now Gam on the push here, looking to put some pressure on this tier 2.
Yeah, he's going to try and get a little bit of poke down onto Summit. You can see just 2 Shyvana. I'm just going to call them Shyvana ults, but they're Shyvana empowered E's on that turret. Man, he gets so much poke. 1 E there gets Seo down to about half health.
Yeah, Seo on the run here. Elio threatening, but Audie's going to go in. He pops the cycle and gets rejected there by the Poppy ult. Still in trouble, though. Summit looking. Oh. The Boulder Toss connects. The Braum ult not quite doing it. It's Easy Love trying to lay down some cover for Elio. Is able to get out there, barely survives.
Actually, some successful cover fire as Gam take a lot of that inner turret, nearly getting a massive injection in gold at the end of that. And they're also going to be up in tempo off of that play because R7 had to send everyone to defend that, and Kia is just going to be able to freely push this top wave, crash it, and R7 doesn't even have a teleport to go up and catch that wave fast.
Yeah, not able to do it just that easy, but Kaney going to be up there to catch him most of the wave. Maybe misses just the 1 minion. And he's off to a really good start here on the Syndra, up 700 gold. He is the lone
apologies if there are any like typing cells.
It's going to be a big threat to some of these members here over on Gam. I mean,
I'll try and like,
you think of it, it's like
mic when I'm not talking.
He's building full AP, so he's not going to be that tanky. Just going to have a little bit of health really in the kit with that Shojin, and he's going to be going in Leandries. We'll see if he builds some MR after that, because I think last time he did Abyssal third.
And I'd also say so far, I got to give a lot of credit to Gam's laning, kind of stepping up to the moment, not getting gapped by Summit, who has
I just wanted to test the mic off, mic on. But sometimes it causes issues, but I'm not really sure when it causes issues.
To turn on. If he can complete this Leandries before the next big fight, he's going to be kind of the carry. It changes so much of the texture of this game when he just gets to fire that E off so many times per fight.
And Gam are just playing this so aggressively,
Really
being able to group up and just pushing forward, brute forcing down. And now Levi moves over to mid after getting that tier 2 bot, and he's going to be able to help Easy Love do this. He's playing a great game on the Shyvana.
Yeah, all of these turrets are from the Shyvana. It's the X factor in this game, absolutely. He's using his ult, poking them off the turret, grabbing the turret, and then cycling back to his jungle to get his ult up again and just running that play over and over again. I mean, he's at 6,400 gold on the Shyvana. That's 1,000 gold ahead of Audie's Wukong. So
that's huge.
It's been really big. That's a 3,000 gold lead they have now.
And when you're playing this kind of champion, you're talking about the efficiency with which he's playing. Efficiency is the name of the game when you're playing a heavy farming jungler, you know, like a Shyvana. So definitely doing well. And Levi has been such a star for the region for so long. Obviously, came into the scene, known for that kind of nocturne power farm game where he got the fast 6. That was kind of the debut that so many people remember him for. Went and played even on 100 Thieves Academy briefly. Now back in the VCS. It's nice to see him performing. It's nice to see him back at Worlds and doing so well.
I will say though, R7 on this Drake early looks to be like Gam is actually just conceding this for top lane push and a Rift Herald take. So they want to accelerate their gold lead more than try and stack towards Soul. I don't know if this is the right play or not, but it's a very decisive play. It's not like a lot of the games we've seen so far where teams are sending 4 people down, thinking about contesting. They're very quickly just saying, okay, we're going to get Rift Herald and a turret off of this.
I like it because I do think that R7's draft is going to be really problematic for them later on. So they're already up 3K. If you're able to grab this tier 1 without even dropping Herald, and then say threaten a tier 2, drop the Herald right on that, get even more gold, extend the gold lead to 4,000 or 5,000 gold, all of a sudden composition becomes less relevant than it otherwise would be.
Yeah, and watching this game play out, my biggest concern for Rainbow 7 is their ability to engage. Because even though we were thinking that Gam has this hard engage team comp with the Yone and the Rumble, the Shyvana poke alone seems like it's out-poking what Rainbow 7 has. So if Gam just keep the pressure up, move the Shyvana around, and just push them back, it's actually Rainbow 7 who has the onus to engage, and they might not have enough tools.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, if we get to those later stages, how Levi actually manages that, because you want to be aggressive, you want to utilize that ultimate, but he is going to have to really watch out for things like the scatter. If you get hit by a scatter, then all of a sudden Audie's following up, and you're in a lot of trouble.
Because that's the thing about the Shyvana build, you're actually super squishy.
Yeah.
It's two pretty purely offensive items. It's not some bruiser Shyvana that actually gets to ult in. You kind of ult to the side and then start e-spamming people.
Yeah,
nice little
the problem with that Shyvana build is that, like, while you are counting on your dragon stacking, because you get 5 armor and MR per dragon, and I think it doubles when you're in ult form, unless they change that. If you don't build any
successfully trade the turret for the Drake, and
defensive
the
items,
will be where does Levi decide to use this Herald? But
it's pretty hard because like you're just building HP, so flat damage is worse against you, but percentage damage is amazing against you.
They're just
actually
very
like super
smartly playing like clean macro, which isn't.
Wukong's like super far behind.
Reference for their region, people think of the VCS and they think,
I don't know, man.
over
like,
one combined kill.
I don't like Wukong as a jungler right now. I feel like it's
even
just
Rainbow
so
7's
low impact.
When we saw them in the future, thinking,
Because
this is just going to be a big fighting game.
They paired it with Braum.
Currently, it's actually just Gam pushing waves and taking objectives.
Wukong, like, Braum's normally there for disengage, not engage. Or he's there to disengage and counter engage, He's not there to start the team fight. Okay, so the Yone is going Stridebreaker.
Summit obviously was a standout, but it wasn't just him. Kaney was capping Quid, who, had been performing so well in the LCS. So a lot of these members were really stepping up, and we'll see if they can continue to do so. Oh, in some trouble now as Summit going to get caught out, as he is going to get probably burned down. Does scoop him into the wall, trying to buy a little bit of time. The boulder toss making it a little bit closer, but Levi knew he had it, didn't even have to use the ulti. They are able to grab the kill.
It's definitely Summit's weakness. Leads most leagues in isolated deaths when he is playing, even if he is a spectacular laner. There was no connection between what he was doing and what the rest of the team was doing. So a pretty safe gank there for Levi and Emo, and now they're heralding mid.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to capitalize on this. They do get it in. Audie is around, but he is warded out over the wall here. Don't have the confidence to step forward and actually finish off that tower, but they do have it low and could cash in on it later. Looks like Gam, though, happy to reset. 2 minutes until this next dragon.
That's a decent amount of damage on the T2
as he
inner.
Possibly can. He is now a good 2 levels ahead.
In the mid lane.
He is almost 12, but it's still about a level and a half fully ahead.
Yeah, smoked the wolf, so wasn't able to smite the Gromp there. Audie gets a little bit back, but you can see he's struggling this game to actually find a window to play around. He's kind of constantly playing catch-up to where Levi is counter-jungling so many of his camps and hasn't been able to look for those big engages.
Yeah, Elio is a little bit behind them here. Unlikely to be able to find any sort of an angle, but Seo also having a good game here, kind of quietly farming up, but Easy Love has been the benefit of so many plates and so many towers going down. He's 0-0-0. He's up at 20 CS, but has a pretty significant lead there and has those 2 big ticket items completed now for the MF. The amount of AD scaling on this ultimate is insane. If he can get that really good bullet time, it will be massive, but there's Braum to deal with, which is problematic, and there's also no CC really to set him up very well, besides just like Yone ult or whatever.
For sure. In terms of playing around spikes, though, I'd say this could be another spike for them with the 2 items on the Misfortune. Levi has his ultimate up. That Drake's in 40 seconds. You also see Kiaya pushing that wave out. He's likely to complete his 2nd item as well. And I'm just really impressed with how patiently Gam is playing this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have those 2 core across 3 members, and as you said, Kiaya getting really close to his as well.
Couldn't finish.
Trailblazer is done now for the Poppy, so a little bit of additional move speed grabbed there. Lion's going to be able to hop it back over the wall to Audie after clearing out that ward. Gam trying to maintain control of the vision in this area, and Audie will be able to sweep out that ward. Nice attempt at an engage, but the Poppy is equal to the task, able to respond and interrupt that dash in. Nice scatter over the wall, though, and you can see Levi is very squishy. Storm Surge procs, but not enough to finish him off.
That's the risk you run playing the Shyvana. Hextech Drake is up. They were kind of posturing over Baron. They might think about... They were thinking about sneaking the Baron, actually, so they're going to end up losing this Drake entirely because Levi got poked out. That is such a big play there for Caney, now getting them to soul point despite being so behind in pressure for much of the game.
And it is a Hextech soul, which is ridiculously powerful. So definitely the strongest soul on the table. It is a very large gold lead. It's about 5,000 gold in the favor of Gam, but a soul really does kind of eliminate that completely. And now it's Baron o'clock. You can see the effects there. They're already hitting it. Now the reveal is there from the observers. Lions trying to get over to actually be able to scout this out. But look how far Audi is.
Audi's not even
it's just going down so fast.
Cinder has to steal it.
They don't necessarily know where Audi is, but are they going to commit to it? The Poppy is dead over the wall. They're committing to it. They do burn it down. They use the bullet time and everything. It's a great sneak from Gam. They do lose the support, but it's well worth the cost.
Yeah, Elio, you will be remembered, and you'll be back alive in 15 seconds. R707, you're back. Levi going to continue to try and farm up. Eventually, they are going to have to fight someone, I think, but I'm not sure because they're extending their gold lead time and time again, with Soul being the big fear for them.
Audi in a little trouble as Emo is just going to take this fight. He's going forward onto him. Summit is here to try to back him up. Emo flashes forward. Does he have the damage? He finishes him off. Snaps back. See ya later. What a play there from the Yone. And now Levi on the chase here. Caney's in trouble. He's flashing in. He's looking to finish him off. There's the equalizer. They're burning down. Easy Love on the flank. Gets deleted by the Caney ultimate. But Gam deal more damage. Gam gets the 2 kills.
Massive amount of damage coming out from Caney's Cinder to kill Easy Love. That's actually going to diminish Gam's ability to take this turret with this Baron buff. Still a huge play for them.
Flash stuns him into the wall. The cleanse doesn't have to come out. He tries to flash out, but the ignite is there, and Kiaya flashes forward, burns him to a crisp. Gam pushing their advantage relentlessly.
They are so decisive. R7 thought that play was going to be over. 80 carry, dead be damned. They break the inhibitor open and still have supers in the mid lane.
They're nearly 8,000 gold ahead now at this point. Gam have taken a monstrous lead in this game, and this was such a decisive play here.
Emo, 260 CS before this play. Just absolutely knows his limits here, flashing forward the instant before he's going to have to snap back. And then look at how much Levi sidesteps here. Syndra, Braum, Syndra completely annihilates R7 as they step forward. Clutch amount of Cinder damage.
Can't sidestep that, Jet. Can't sidestep that.
A lot of gameplay going on at the very end of that one for Misfortune, but still a huge play for them overall.
Yeah. Was not familiar with your game.
Yeah.
There's still a Cinder with almost 3 items there, but yeah.
Storm Surge Ludens,
Levi,
it's real.
He had the jukes there, man. He was dodging everything. He even sidestepped the Summit Q.
Well, that's one of the things about the amount of confidence that it feels like Gam is playing with, confidence and decisiveness. Even very early on in the laning phase, you could see they were willing to play on those margins of being in range of Braum Q, being in range of Gnar stuns, and just sidestepping them, and they're doing that so well and so consistently this game.
I mean, just look at the gold lead in jungle. This is ridiculous. 3.4K right there in the jungle.
It's a Levi gap, man.
And,
this is...
yeah, he's got more farm than Summit, by the way, as a jungler, and he is level 16, higher level than Summit as well. So Levi is styling on them, but the whole team really is performing here, and the gold lead is enormous.
He really makes me want to go play Shyvana. It's not going to look the same, but I'm like, I can farm and then press E a bunch. It's simple, right?
You're not wrong. And we'll see if Caney can get out of there. He farmed, he pressed E, but it didn't even matter. Gets deleted by Easy Love and Emo, who tag team down the Syndra, and now Gam might want even more. You can see Summit in the picture-in-picture. He's pushing out bot. The equalizer is going to get dropped onto Seo's head. Levi trying to push forward. Can he actually find an E? They're just going to try to bully down this tower.
No minions even.
Are able to do it, and Emo's now in mid lane. Summit's still not basing. They decided, you know what? We can't defend. We're going to try to trade something, but the trade is not worth the cost. They're going to lose the mid lane tower. They're going to lose the top lane tower. They're going to lose 2 inhibitors, if not 3. We'll see if they can get it.
Okay, the only hope that R7 has here is that they can delay these recalls enough or catch something on the back end and get a soul. So Gam is in total control of this game. 8,000 gold lead, a bunch of powerful item spikes, but that soul point is, I think, the one risk they would have.
Yeah, and Summit was was scared. He thought they were collapsing on him, so he TP'd back to base. So now there's not any sort of an angle for him to even go for a TP flank or anything. He did get that tier 2. He did get an objective bounty with that, so some gold in his pockets. But you're looking over at the items. They are definitely in the favor of Gam, though has to be said, there's no 4th items coming through, and some 3rds are starting to get completed. Kaney does have his 3rd item. It's 2.5 there for Seo. R7 are going to need some massive plays if they want to make something happen here, but Lions come out. He's got no one to jump to. Audie's going to try to go in and turn this around, but he gets knocked back by Elio. Levi's in trouble. The Equalizer is going to get dropped. Levi's getting burst down. Summit can go for a play. He has Mega. Is he going to be able to find it? They get another kill, and Kaney is taken over. Kiaya's on the run, but he's got no way out. Audie's looking for Elio. They want even more. Emo was not there, and his team pays the price. R7 get 4 kills. R7 get the soul as well, and R7 may have just flipped this game on its head, but not if Emo could say anything about it. He's into the pit, has to go back with the soul inbound. Now can't make anything happen here. They're going to be able to claim it. That's a Hextech soul, and that's the gold lead shrinking down to 6K, but with the stats from the soul, it really doesn't even matter.
An objective bountied soul, and this is just Gam getting a little ahead of themselves. They engage on a Braum with 3. Look at where Yone is, and then look at where Levi is in relation to the team. The squishy Savannah gets caught. They opted in to a 4v5, and that's exactly what they couldn't have happen. They'd played such a patient, efficient game up until this point, but they honestly just got greedy. I was watching Levi's pathing even before this fight. He was taking blue buff, he was taking top crab, he was sitting on 1,600 gold. Gam just needed to focus after those 2 inhibitors, all reset, all set up towards Drake, and then take the win. But because they were just, I think, so locked into this efficiency game, they may have just given it back. I think it's anyone's game now. Objective bounties from Gnar killing turrets, objective bounties from the soul itself, and now the power of the soul as well as their overall team comp turning on. I think R7's not out of this.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Kaney, again, just 100 to 0 Easy Love with his R only, right? Like, and he is now even stronger, and now has Hextech Soul. Gam are going to go back towards the Baron, but this time it's going to be spotted out here. Audi has the information. Kaney is there. Lions is there. Seo is there, but it's Emo trying to split this up, trying to go for the base. We'll see if someone can hold him on. It's going to be a fight on 2 sides. Emo's getting aggressive here. Does get slammed into the wall there by Summit, but Kiaya's here as well as a 2v1. Can they actually make the outplay in the 1v2 to try to defend? At the same time, Gam are still on the Baron, but it's going down so incredibly slow. It's another member back here as R7 send Kaney back to defend. They do lose the inhib, and it's briefly going to be a triple inhib now for Gam. They're going for the hit and run tactics.
It's one of those games. We have one of those games now where one team has no structures but is stronger, and the other team is just going to try and run them around the map. I don't think Gam can win a straight 5v5, but they're going to be playing this double TP, supers in every wave strategy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they don't have to win a 5v5 if they kill your Nexus. That's the problem. You're going to have someone who is on that defensive duty. Summit, though, was able to hold the line quite well against Emo. I would have had him in the 1v1, but Kiaya was there to back him up, and Summit didn't overcommit and get caught, so good restraint from him, and that has been one of his Achilles' heels. These inhibitors are going to come back up soon, though.
Yeah, they're coming up soon, but because there's double supers in every wave, I think Gam can just take the Baron. They are, I think, really tunneled right now on killing the Nexus. But they can start this Baron whenever they want.
They have double solos bot against. They're going to try to overload one side. They have 3 men on the Baron. I think you are right. There shouldn't be any real window for R7 to be able to get over here. And the problem is, if you lose triple inhib and there's Baron, you just lose to the minions. Like, you kind of can't even wave clear. It becomes so difficult. Some of the inhibitors are going to be responding pretty quickly, so we'll see if those come back in time. But Gam do get the Baron.
Interesting. It's a little mistimed, though, because you can see on the minimap, these 2 waves coming out don't have the supers. So even though the inhibitors haven't technically respawned yet, the effect of them is gone in terms of what is going to be coming out of the base. So they need to escort those waves with their Baron to re-hit those inhibitors, and then they can try and overwhelm the Nexus.
And my real question is, does R7 fight there? Do they actually fight to try to defend the inhibitors? Or do you just try to say, you know what, we're going to wait it out, we're going to give up those inhibitors once again, and we're going to try to wait to fight at something like the Elder?
I think they're only going to take a good fight. Because I think if you let it get all the way to your nexus, I think that's wrong. But if you overextend for a fight early, that's also wrong. And it's going to be an answer to that question of, do they have enough engage in their team comp?
Exactly. It's something that you were touching on earlier that I was going to mention. Yeah, it's difficult because they can't really pick the engages that easily. You're looking for a scatter, you're looking for Audi to find an angle to get into that back line. And Gam are just trying to split the map here. They're pushing all 3 lanes and trying to pull R7 apart.
And we don't see 1-3-1 that often anymore because every space is vulnerable if R7 actually go. Nice rejection there by the Poppy.
Yeah, and now they're going to try to turn it around. Audi's in trouble. The bullet time comes out, but it's going to be blocked by the Braum. So Easy Love does expend it. Audi's going to have to go back to base and heal up. Emo's already taking the bottom inhibitor. Levi's going to grab the top one, and now the middle one's gone as well. Summit in some trouble, and the minions are just marching in. The Equalizer is going to get dropped onto Kaney's head. Summit is getting so low, he's got to scoop the minions back just to survive. He's back into the fountain. They're trying to clear this out, but they don't have the champions to really do it. In goes Audi. He's going to try to turn around. Emo's in the back line, though, and Emo finds Kaney and kills him, wipes him off the map. Easy Love's in the back line, and Gam make it happen.
Damn, I was like, all of a sudden,
Gam, find the angle,
there was like
the game with the
a team fight, which it got weird for Gam, and then R7 kind of just looked like, you know, they're giving up. Alright, we'll be back with game 2 shortly. I'm going to keep this one a big VOD. I'm gonna try new things, so we'll be back. We're back for game 2.
You know, if you want to let the Shyvana through, then you need to
Aurora,
pressure on it.
Skarner, Orianna. I don't think the LeBlanc ban
you need to really
is
be able to get something else done. Or you try to play something that's equally greedy and can scale with it. You say like, okay, you're gonna play Shyvana, well, I'm gonna play Brand, and I'm gonna be a monster in team fights too. So I'll be really interested to see what their approach is to it.
Okay, so Gam's bans stay exactly the same. The Ziggs was banned in game 1 by R7. So is it Ziggs ban or Shyvana ban?
It's got to be Shyvana.
They leave Ziggs up, which is, I really thought it would be the Vi. I think they're afraid of the fight engage from Levi, but Ziggs can provide the same issue just in a different way if they decide to pick it later. But it's first pick Rumble once again, so R7 could actually take the Ziggs if they want to.
Yeah, just right back to the Rumble. And I'm so curious now, what is Summit's answer going to be? Because such a key part of their early game, of their victory against 100 Thieves, was that he was dominant in lane. You know, and it was, the sniper was just blind picking Cassante, and they're putting him on tank duty, and Summit was able to take advantage of that. So maybe we'll have a different pick here to be able to answer Kiaya's Rumble, who really did keep him in check, but it is going to be the Ziggs coming out so far.
Either way, I do actually like this tweak by R7, because if they are forcing, if basically they're expecting Gam to first pick Rumble again, and one, that means that they can get the Ziggs that they had themselves banned in game 1, but Rumble Ziggs wouldn't have been a good combo anyway, so I do like them getting rid of the Shyvana, but then also opening up their own power pick to be able to take early in the draft.
Spicy hotbot coming through. The Jarvan locked in, the Cataclysm plus the Ziggs ult. Very powerful combo here. And if you lock Jhin into that, you are asking to die, but Easy Love is going to go for it. And honestly, Easy Love, he farmed well, but he didn't really have to do much in the last game. He was not a big factor besides getting one shot by Kaney and giving us some reaction gifs on Twitter.
Easy Love was such an 80 carry experience last game on MF. Just farms all game, one shot by Syndra, and then thrown on the
Leon. I like Leon from the last game. Okay,
like, what if you were further back with your ult?
Same situation. This is actually better than MF, for sure. Because at least the Jhin can give the utility.
Is it going to be the Summit Jace? You know, this and the Gnar are the two champions I always think of when I think of Summit.
It's locked in.
And it is going to get locked in. This is, you know, one of those champions that he can dominate lane on. Didn't really get it done on the Gnar as far as that 1v1 was concerned. Kiaya really held him to a stalemate. And I think that was such a key part of their game.
Yeah, it's. I was actually going to say it jokingly when you're like, what does he do? I was like, well, it's Gnar or Jace. Those are some of his champions. And it is still
true.
True
one trick.
To this
he has
day.
a second trick.
Yeah, and he's super good on those champs.
He is incredible on those champions, and he can play other stuff, of course. But you know, he really is. He's been the same player his whole career. Like, incredibly lane dominant, but tends to die to ganks, tends to get caught in side lanes. You know, those are his weaknesses. You really know what you're going to get with Summit, but you're getting some really powerful strengths. It is going to be Sejuani as the ban. They're worried about that pairing with the double melee soul laners that have already been drafted, and I think that is a smart ban from this spot. And also, interestingly, they are going to be banning out the Poppy, who, you know, I didn't really feel was a big part of the win in the previous game, but I will say he was on point with his steadfast presences. He was, you know, interrupting Audi a lot, so maybe that was kind of the frustration, was Audi didn't feel like he could get in and make the fights happen.
He was very tricky to pin down, and I think against the Jarvan. It's just a smart ban when you know that the other team is comfortable playing Poppy. It also opens up things like Rel, so it's just going to allow them to actually engage.
Now, I'm really curious, are they going to go for a bit more setup now for Kiaya? Last time, they didn't have it, but as it turned out, they didn't need it. So, Rel has been taken away. Leona is banned out. You could go towards something like an Alistar or a Nautilus if you do want those types of engage supports. That's kind of the meta for most teams these days, is you just kind of pick one of those. Levi, Wukong is up, and he's going to grab it, and they're going to pick another option here with the Rakan. So some very powerful engage this time around on the Gam side, and much more lockdown and setup for both Emo and Kiaya to really succeed with.
And it's also, I'd say Rakan, a little bit weaker in lane.
Oh, it's going to be Jace mid.
Way more reach in terms of being able to get to the back line. I guess it will actually be Jace mid.
Yeah, it's going to be Jace mid, and they're going to go Cassante fifth pick here for Summit.
It could be Cassante mid. They have until 20 seconds on the timer to trade it back. We're at 40 seconds right now.
I'm assuming it's going to be Summit playing the Cassante, which is kind of un-Summit-like, to be honest. But, I mean, everyone plays a ton of Cassante, let's be honest. This champion has been so strong for really the entire time since it came out. So people definitely do play a lot of it. But Kaney, I am expecting to play that Jace, and I think we're far enough in. Honestly, I can't tell because we don't have the exact number on the screen.
I got it on my screen. We're past 20 seconds just now, so this is going to be it. Summit on the Cassante. I wouldn't have minded to see the Cassante mid, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure exactly how that matchup would go. The one thing I will say is it's a lot more difficult in mid lane to actually get good angles for the all-out, you know, actually try to find those all-in opportunities. We'll see if someone can do that up the top lane against Kiaya, and I'm really interested now to see how Kaney performs here. He really was good at actually bullying Emo in the early levels on the Syndra, and I think he had a very strong Syndra game overall. He was pretty impactful. Can he do the same thing on the Jace? Because to me, it's always felt like Jace needs to do even more. That being said, they do have quite a bit of poke between the Jace and the Ziggs, so maybe they're going to try to play more of that style of comp where they poke out their opponents before the fight.
I think a lot of it is trying to keep up with the turret taking that Gam had in game 1 and land a couple counter picks in. It's going to be tough, I think, actually, for Rainbow 7. The manner in which they lost that first game, just being behind in tempo pretty much the entire time, still securing Soul, but never really finding a single good team fight. So Gam, I think, is just going to be having so much confidence and momentum after that game 1, because there were little things that we were seeing, even the laning phase from Gam, willing to take risks on small things and getting away with it, playing on the margins. Kiaya as well, not losing lane to Summit. Someone who's beaten pretty much everyone in lane. Now going up against his Cassante, which if he gets ahead could still punish the Rumble, but I'm expecting Gam to continue to keep up their aggressive style of play.
Absolutely. I mean, I think more so than last game, I'm expecting a lot more fighting. Kiaya also going first strike on the Rumble, which is an interesting adaptation here. You're playing against a tank. You're just going to try to farm some gold off of him. If you feel like, hey, I don't really think I can punish him a lot with, you know, the Comet.
I like Gam's draft a lot
just
more
try to farm a little bit more gold, complete those items that much faster. As Audi does
I feel like it's a weird,
on his
like
Raptor,
R7
so
have like a weird
that information, but Lions, of course, unable to come up there and sweep it out because it's too late.
There was a small chance that R7 would have gone for a swap, and I think that would have definitely surprised Gam, because they have the type of team comp for it.
They have like a weird poke
definitely just
style.
Decided to go
like they have engaged
lanes,
with Jarvan and Rel, but they have poke with Jace and Ziggs.
Levi,
while Gam have like more like the all-in style with the AD carry is going to play a little more slowly.
And the whole team is pretty good at that.
I don't know, it's just
nice little trade there from Lions, but of course, Rakan, if you can hit those Qs, those Gleaming Quills, you are going to be healing back up pretty effectively. So if you're trying to bully this lane, have to be dodging those Qs, and that one does connect. So going to be going pretty much right back to full. As Kaney just going in the melee form and going to the skies to get a nice little trade there onto Emo. Really wants to keep him down early.
And this will be the big question. How well can Kaney punish this Yone? We did think Yone was going to be one of the biggest picks at this World Championship. Still might be, but I've definitely seen it get fairly punished early by a couple of different picks. We saw Maple Zakali do it a couple times on day 1. Even the Cinder was punishing it fairly well, and we're really going to see how much damage this Jace can do. Early on, it looks like he's able to weave in a lot of damage without Emo being able to retaliate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always interesting, right? Because these kind of matchups, you have to know you're going to lose really going into it. But if you can lose gracefully, you can have so much power later on. It's such a powerful pick. You know, allows you to really get in there with the soul unbound. You know, that's what really makes the champion, is that you don't have to throw your body all the way in and fully commit to actually get an all-in play, right? Yasuo has to like ult into the backline to do it, and you could just get burst down. King can always snap back with the E.
And also, I think the Jace needs to do a lot of work in lane, because if you're a Jace going up against Rakan, Wukong, Rumble later on in the game, it's a pretty hard life. There's a lot of things that can really just shut you down. I mean, even Wukong, if he gets a little bit ahead, would have a chance to just solo kill the Jace at the back end of a fight. So he really needs to do a lot of work in this early game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if they can get that push. Nice shock blast there, empowered. Levi heading down towards that bottom side here as Easy Love and Elio are in the area, and both junglers are going to be spotting each other.
It's risky for Levi to be here because Jace has so much prio mid, but there's no smite on Audi, so he has to just give it up. That's unfortunate.
And as soon as you use the flag and drag and then you see him, there's no chance you can win the skirmish either, so it's just time to run. So I think smart from Audi to just give that up. Of course, it will give Levi some more tempo. He gets the faster recall and is going to be back out on the map here a lot faster.
Pretty nice play, though, from Kaney early on. 11 CS advantage in the first 4 waves.
Yeah, doing a really good job, and we'll see if he can kind of maintain that advantage, keep pushing it forward. People getting really low. That empowered shock blast could have been dangerous if it did connect there from Kaney, but Kaney also getting quite low here himself, so he's going to have to take a recall. And this is going to give Emo a chance to be able to at least farm this up and then potentially walk back to lane. It'll be interesting to see if Kaney wants to actually TP back and keep that pressure on.
Levi might be trying to get a cheeky gank into Summit here. He will be spotted if he goes over that wall. I mean, Ki is in such a fine spot. It would literally just be trying to gank for the 300 gold, and Levi decides it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, exactly. Levi had a little bit of time before his Gromp and Wolves did respawn, so he's like, you know what, I'll take a look, see if there's an angle. There wasn't, so he's right back to farming, playing for that efficiency game that he is really well known for. Always has been a bit of a power farmer, loves playing these carry-style junglers, and he's such a strong team fighter that it has really kind of made his career playing that style.
And you can tell the team is really comfortable playing that style as well. Those types of players don't generally mesh well when you have someone who just loves playing counter picks or something. Like, you can see all these lanes are generally safe, and these guys are not playing the lanes in places where the wave is getting frozen against them and they need the jungler to come bail them out. Like, they're all very good laners in their own right. The CS disadvantage at the last recall was only 9 for Emo when he's almost hit level 6 with the Doran Shield, the Vamp Scepter, 2 health potions, and Fleet Footwork, so his sustain is going to be quite high.
Yep, and both supports kind of seeing if there's any sort of an angle here as Kaney takes a lot of damage, but is going forward. And Shower Blast nicely sidestepped there by Emo. Leo going to have to jump back to his teammate, but will help to keep him safe. So going to be able to farm this up and just use that Vamp Scepter to try to sustain through this. And with Jace taking another base, I feel like Emo's gotten through a lot of the hardest part of the early game here, and he's in a pretty darn good spot. Yeah,
there were a couple of empowered shock blasts that fell to the side that really could have made life hard for Emo, but he was able to dodge both of those. So pretty clutch. That allows Levi to hit level 5, and we are moving up towards Grubs for a potential fight. Seo has teleport, so Gam needs to be a little careful starting this because they could be at a numbers disadvantage soon.
Yeah, and Kaney did just get that recall off, so he's going to be a little bit more powerful potentially, but he is on a Cull and a tier, so not exactly the most threatening of items there for the Jace in the early game.
Levi's got to get out of there.
Levi at least will get one. Kiaya does have first move, but it's just going to be the one. I think they're going to call that heist and probably back off. Both bot laners have moved up to mid, though.
Yeah, exactly. Jin's followed all the way up. They might look for pick.
Yeah, they're going to be going in, and the Ziggs is in trouble. The curtain call has come out. Lions able to body block. They did get the flash off of Seo. Now the Equalizer comes down. It's not quite in the right spot. Emo trying to go forward and finish him off. Nice sidestep from Seo, but it's first blood for Kiaya. And is it even more? It looks like it. It's a flash out from Lions, but Levi is there trying to take him down, and Easy Love comes in. 1, 2, 3, fourth shot gets the kill.
Somehow during that fight, Levi ticked level 6, and that allowed them to just continue that chase. But it was all about the original pick onto Seo Ziggs. Gam just a little bit sharper and a little bit more decisive. I think in an ideal world there, R7 actually hold the Ziggs and the Jin bot so they can teleport and actually have the numbers advantage. When Jin's able to follow like that, it becomes a 5v5.
Yeah, in some trouble. Does have to flash out. Nice sidestep. That little juke there kept him alive. If he gets scooped back, he's dead because Summit can go all out, and then Audie's there to follow.
The mechanics on these guys are just accumulating into being bigger and bigger advantages. Sidesteps on the shock blast, sidesteps on those ganks, keeping them deathless, and Levi just boldly starting this Drake. Surely he has to run.
Yeah, gonna get spotted out, and he will be pushed off that as Seo is down here. R7 deciding, you know what? Maybe we can do it. So they do have that faster reset. Their bot lane is there, and Audie has arrived, so it looks like it will be their Dragon.
I mean, R7, maybe they'll get Soul again. It just seems to be their thing, where they get Soul in almost every game. 2 games in a row, the last one against 100 Thieves, and in that last game they had against Gam. But they will get the first Drake of this game, and it's looking similar to the story of Game 1, where Gam is taking a lot of risks in lane to hold on. Levi is off to the races. Early Drakes for R7, but already a 1,000 gold lead for Gam, and just the very end of that Rakan W, followed by the Yone ultimate, start this fight off right for Gam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was pretty nicely done, the initial engage, and Seo does a good job, sidesteps the Q3, trying to get out of there, but really, when there's that much committed to you, there's no shot.
And the kill onto Ziggs is what gave Levi enough experience to hit level 6, which I think is what allowed them to get the second kill of the fight on Darrell.
Well, he's feeling it. He is really feeling it, and Gam happy about that. No, it's a key moment in this game, opening up about a 1.5k gold lead from that play. And it's pretty significant. Kiaya, again, seems to be doing more than holding his own.
No flash.
Levi going in, but the fate is not sealed. It is going to miss, and everything is a sidestep. Everything is just a dodge there. Both teams showcasing those mechanics.
Yeah, that's really huge by Kaney there to not die to that Wukong gank. 2 ultimates burned, doesn't even get more than half of his health. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we start seeing some lane swaps happening. Looking at the items here, tons of magic resist being built around by Summit, as I do an arrow instead of a circle. But if they swap the Yone into him, he'll be a lot more effective.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. I want to know how much first strike gold has actually been grabbed by Kiaya.
I can tell you.
I'm really curious to see how much gold he's actually been able to get, because he's been, every time I look up there, he seems to be procking it pretty much nonstop.
186.
Not bad, honestly. This just from the laning phase, like almost a kill, most of a kill. It's kind of not too bad. But already has that Leandries, so is on that spike here pretty darn early.
Yeah. And
we can see that it's likely going to be Blade the Rune King rush here for Emo, pretty standard.
Yeah, and the lanes have actually changed. Summit is up against the Jin right now. I don't necessarily think Easy Love can threaten kills on the Jin, but it definitely makes Kiaya more threatening with his full Leandries up against people who don't have a ton of MR already.
Yep. Yeah, there are some squishy members up there, absolutely. Elio coming up towards the top to try to reinforce the team. Audie finally going to finish off those grubs. They never actually fully cleared those earlier grubs, so it is just the 3 that will be showing up here this game.
Grubless game. Not even a 4 grubber for anyone.
Nope. And we'll see if Summit can continue wave clear. I think he will. I mean, yeah, Jin does physical damage. Yeah, he built Amar, but like Jin is on Swifties and a little bit of damage.
Safe.
So yeah, I mean, Jin honestly with this build that has become so popular with the Shiv into rapid fire. It's like you have so much move speed. It's so fun to play, but if you're not very ahead, you don't do a lot of damage. Is Kaney going to be forced to flash there on the attempted engage from Elio? Comes in with the ultimate and is able to push him back and keep that pressure on.
I mean, another nice dodge there by Kaney, but nothing is going to be won for it. That was a very low investment gank by Gam in terms of spells. They just had so much tempo to spend. I mean, I'm even looking at their waves right now. Nothing's pushing in against them. They're kind of safely resetting. They already have a pretty large gold lead. I kind of wonder where Rainbow 7 is going to make something happen for themselves, because they seem to be playing permanent defense.
I mean, it's tough, right? Kaney was doing so well in the 1v1, but he's been pressured a couple times, and forcing out a flash like that means you can't bully anymore. You have to be so careful. So, that buys the time, that buys the space for Emo to be able to set up. They are going to try to look here as Lions. Crash down will connect. Audie is just in range now. The knockup is there, and Kaney going to try to find it. Fate is sealed. Used to just build a little bit of space, and now the soul inbound coming through. Lions, nice sidestep, though. The jukes from these players are really good in this game.
I'll also say that a Jarvan without his first completed item and a Rel, they're not killing a level 9 Yone with Doran Shield. So even if they landed that engage, he didn't have to burn Flash during his escape. And speaking of what we talked about in game 1, with Gam being really good at playing on their item spikes, when Levi goes back to base and completes the Sundered Sky, he deploys and he looks to make a play. So with this Dragon coming up, Gam's definitely going to be trying to make something happen.
Yep, Kaney still down there working towards his first item. Stacking up the tier, of course, and then there's going to be a tier on the Ziggs as well. Going to be working towards the Archangels. A little bit less of a spike, I think, than having that Ludens, but of course it does help you if you do get jumped on, and there is a lot of hard engage over on the other side when you're looking at Emo and Levi. So I do understand wanting to go a bit of a more defensive item here, as Kiaya, I think, mostly looking for the reset, but he's going to force a flash. Does he flash to follow? He might just have him. Didn't want to risk it. Interesting. Elects to hold onto the flash. I think he maybe could have got him with even just like one more harpoon.
Yeah, but about these Rumble nerfs, it feels like it might have been a player issue with the other Rumbles that we've seen, because Kiaya, he's looked super good. He's completely matching Summit's Gnar. He is going up against the full MR Cassante, playing on his spike pretty well. The Canic Rook Urn hadn't been completed yet, so he may as well go for the kill. Gets one plate, has to reset, but that buys time for the team to be able to take the Drake. I'm really impressed with the 4 games I've seen from Kiaya so far. 2 games on Aurora on day 1, and then also the Rumble so far today.
Especially when you, like you say, you're going up against Summit. You know, you're going up against the guy who is considered by far the strongest laner in his league. You know, such a good top laner in that 1v1, and hasn't been able to really get anything done in the 1v1. Got the Gnar in the last game, couldn't really create any sort of advantage. Now he's on that Cassante, and Kiaya is just using him as a target. I mean, farm first strike gold.
Yeah, he absolutely is. A little bit less farm overall for Gam solo laners at this game, though. I'd say the Jace has been pretty effective at its early job of shutting down the Yone a bit, but I just feel like it's going to be tricky to actually make use of this thing in the late game if they're not able to consistently get push, set up at objectives, and then kind of use the Ziggs Jace to stop them from entering.
Yeah. And I actually like this more from Seo. He did actually just elect to finish the Ludens and sit on the tier. So
nice.
I like that more. You know, it is definitely a nice one-item power spike along with that Jace, who now has the opportunity done, as you called out.
Big Jace
he is definitely strong. Has that completed item. Did cash out the call.
Kiaya just hit level 11, and he has his ultimate up. So this could be a Rift Herald fight.
Yeah, we'll see. R7 are there first, but Emo is coming. Easy Love as well as Levi are going to try to get pushed mid. That is a big shock blast, though, onto Easy Love, and he is pushed back very quickly by that. So Kiaya going to head back up the top and try to get the shove there.
Gotta respect the Rumble, though. R7 had to pull off as soon as they saw Rumble moving towards them. Kind of a standstill. Again, so much patience from Gam in this entire series.
I mean, it's not really what you would associate with them traditionally, but at the same time, clearly they know we can play around our power spikes, we can play to scale, they don't have to force anything if it's not there, and they're just playing out a really smart game. I mean, they had Emo down on bot side, who was matched up against this Kaney, Rooker, and Cassante, which is a horrible 1v1 against this Blade of the Rune King that's now completed for him. So R7 moving over. This is getting low, though. We'll see if Levi can secure it. Eye gets popped, and they are going to be able to finish it off there. Now can they find any sort of a play? Ilio's going to be looking. Lions flashes out, does crash down over the wall, but he's going to get interrupted. And now comes the curtain call there from the Jin as well as the equalizer, but not really able to find too much. Seo does walk back in, gets hit by the 4th shot. Is going to be okay. Summit is having to recall, and Audi looking for the re-engage, but no one is there with him, and Audi really went too far. Now Kiaya goes forward, and Emo finds him with the fate is sealed. Kaney tries to get out, but he can't do it. It's a double kill for Emo, and it's Gam taking over off of a re-engage from Audi.
Emo showing up with those 2 kills on the back, but I gotta say, Audi is gonna want that one back. They were able to dodge the first engage, get the TP out of the Yone, and it could have been over, but they were just not ready for that re-engage, and it's that re-engage that ends up giving the 2 kills over to Gam. Watching it one more time, Ilio just gets completely stuffed up on the top with Rakan there, can't actually get onto the rel, and you think, Rainbow 7 is actually just ult. Burn Jin, burn Rumble ult. It's over. But let's see, what did Audi think was going to happen with the re-engage onto Levi? There's no shock blast up for Kaney. Seo's around the side. That's one of those instances where you feel like your team is behind you, but they're not actually there, and you end up running it down.
He just unfortunately wasn't aware, like you say, of exactly where they were. You know, thought he had an angle, but clearly did not. Zig's not in position to follow up. You know, Jace not in position to follow up. Ends up going in, dies, gives over a couple kills, and now it's an over 3,000 gold lead here for Gam, and they have been playing really well with the advantages when they can get them. Kiaya, again, procking that first strike here, just trying to farm it up, working towards that second item as the Rift Maker. And Easy Love moving towards his second item as well, has that shift for quite some time, and is going to have that rapid fire pretty soon now.
Yeah, he's having a very strong game. I think he's happy to be on Jhin and not Misfortune this time. He can play a little further back, and there's also no Syndra to press a button on him and end his life. This is going to be a really hard game for R7 from this point forward, because if we think about the way their team comp needs to operate, they really need to wombo combo team fights with Ziggs, Jarvan, maybe even a little bit of Jace Rel. But Gam has just been so good about spreading out, playing from a lot of different angles. So even if R7 tries to combo one person, like first they might not even kill that one person, but then second, the sustained damage on the other side from Gam is going to be just so much higher than what R7 has. Add that to the fact that they're behind in items and gold, and it gets even harder.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, you'd say, okay, well, if we can't do that, what can we do? Maybe we could split push. But Emo is going to be really good at answering you in the side lanes. If he has 2 kills, even though there is this additional farm, the the plates and everything that Kenny was able to pressure, he is not really that far ahead of where this Yone is. And one misstep, and you can easily lose that 1v1.
Absolutely. So Dragon coming up. It's a Mountain Soul this game. Gam is a little bit grouped up here, so maybe
nice
a window.
Shockwave Emo looking though, and he finds the Ziggs.
Jesus, that was so clean.
His fate is sealed. Gam gonna drop the Herald mid. That's gonna be the tier 1 tower. That's gonna be the Ziggs. It should be the Dragon off the back of it, and the curtain call is gonna get opened up here. Looking for the damage on the back line, pushing them back. In goes Elio. Nice buffer though from Summit, and now going to drop the equalizer. That one's a bit of a whiff. Can they find anything more? He's going to think better of it.
No thanks. Go bot. Go all the way bot. Hit that turret bot.
It's Levi Drift. He's going to be driving down towards the Dragon.
He could hit the bot turret. Either way, there's still 4 people chasing after him, but Gam is going to be pretty fearless now. It's only physical damage dealers that are alive at the moment. They do respect the teleport of Ziggs, though, as they go bottom lane and actually don't take the Drake yet.
Yeah, they can't even really take the Drake. I mean, Easy Love has been split up from the rest of the team. He's getting pushed off, so now they're going to lose their mid lane tower. Gam kind of over-chased and are getting punished for it. Levi, though, going to look. He's going to go in. There's a Cyclone. Seo's in trouble again, but the minion wave was still there to tank up the tower for now. The W does miss, and now it's a TP coming in from the other side. It's going to be Kiaya rejoining the team. He has no ulti, but doesn't even need it. Katie's in trouble. He's getting roasted. Lions is already dead to Levi, but they're trying to take one back. Seo pushing him out. Summit arrives. The teleport's getting committed from both sides, but it is Gam, again, that get the kill and get out.
Man, you can really just see how strong Levi's Wukong is in this game state, because if he's the one that opens onto Ziggs and Seo has to run instead of return fire, he's just armor stacking on Wukong through his passive, and the Jarvan, Jace, Cassante are unable to touch him. So he, I think, even missed his W out of the Jarvan Cataclysm and then was still just able to flash out at the tail end of that fight. So he's very free with what he can do in this game, and Gam continue to put the pressure on R7.
Yeah, we can see it one more time. They were pressuring Easy Love, and Levi goes in and finds a gauge.
And it's pretty much 1v3. Seo can't return fire onto Levi, so everyone else on Gam can just continue going forward, easily pick up the kill on Darrell. But really, this at the end is kind of what's damning for me, where he flashes out of the full combo from Audi. Seo's burning all of his cooldowns, and it's going to be tough for R7 to come back here.
I mean, you can see R7 know it. Their coaching staff looking incredibly stressed, a little bit dejected there. Obviously, coming off of a big series, they were feeling confident. They were in a really good spot. You know, at times, it felt like in game number 1, had a good draft. This second game, though, has got away from them pretty quick. And as you say, going to be tough to pull back, but we'll see if they can do it. The Dragon's still on the table here, and it's going to be Gam looking to move down and claim it as Emo splits top.
And I think they will be able to get this one. But Gam is not a team to rush Drakes. They are so focused on just accumulating pressure and gold. So yes, they have the ability to take Drake, but they're going to rather grab this standing gold first. Can't complain as they continue to extend their gold lead.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Emo's fine topside. You know, he seems to be completely safe. He has enough vision. It's a bit shallow, but he does have it through that river and has the push up on that topside. They have a ward deep in mid that knows where the Ziggs is. They have the mini wave there, so they saw the Jarvan. And they know they have the time. They'll take the tier 1, grab the dragon, no pressure.
And also just a reminder, as the stakes for this game, the winner advances to Swiss stage. And almost the added importance for Rainbow 7, because their region, the LLA, has never advanced out of a play-in stage. Losing this game doesn't mean that's an impossibility, though. And also because of how important their win was over 100 Thieves, there's like a bracket switch as they move down. So they actually end up playing, if they lose this, they will play the winner of Vikings and Pain Gaming. So by no means would their dreams of going to group stage be over. They're going to be very competitive, I feel like, in the next series if they end up losing this one, which it does look like Gam is in complete control.
Yeah, absolutely. Are sitting in a really, really good spot. You can see 2 items coming through for so many members. Stridebreaker done for Emo, which does make it difficult to kite him out. That Rapid Fire is done. Last Whisper completed for Easy Love. And we do have that Riftmaker has been done for a long time on Kiaya, but now has a Seekers on top of it. That's going to make him even more difficult to knock down.
And give you a first strike update. First strike catch. 489 gold.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It does deal a fair bit of damage too, and it scales pretty well into the game because it is that percentage increase of damage. So honestly, not bad. A kill and a half from your rune there, as he has created a very big lead for himself. 1.8K ahead of where Summit is now.
Just trying to think of what Rainbow 7 can do. I mean, currently now would have been their window to try and do something when you have both the Yone and the Rumble showing on waves. You know there's only going to be 3 people. But Levi's just freely going wherever he wants because it's only physical damage dealers that are in range to retaliate. They do about 600 damage to him, and in doing so then lose mid-push. So again, R7 is going to have to wait and look for their next play. Got people standing on a ward, though.
Yeah, they do spot them. They're going to go in, but are they going to regret it? We'll see. The TP's coming in from Summit as well, and we do have Levi trying to get out. The Zig's all going to hit him. Kaney trying to retreat. If the curtain is going to get called on the other side, Audi trying to block, but they're trying to snipe through. He can't quite find it. Sayo pushes him back and interrupts him with the satchel charge on the side, but it doesn't matter because Kiaya's got a double. Emo's in the 1v1. He flashes out of the Q3, has the solo out. Can he finish off Summit? Not quite. Summit flashes back. Another Q3 is going to miss, and Emo's trying to charge it back up. Has it back and available. Neither solo laner able to finish off the other one. But that was big because Emo was able to interrupt the TP there from Summit. He couldn't join the play.
True.
And that really did change the math on things for R7, who thought they would have the man advantage.
They're going to get the Baron after that one as well. And if there was ever a moment that R7 thought they could get back in the game, it's when they see Wukong and Rumble sitting on a ward and they bait them to engage, but it still ends in the favor of Gam. 8,000 gold, Baron buff, Drake advantage, and a couple of pushes away from the Swiss stage.
Yeah, they are looking so good at this point in the game. We can watch this fight one more time. You can see the angle that they're looking for here.
Yeah, I mean, Levi Kiaya goes straight in. They get a bunch of damage onto Kaney, but then Ziggs retaliating, and maybe if the Cassante could come in with some type of flank, they could get onto Jin or Levi in the back. It's still going to be pretty rough, though.
Huge.
That's a huge gold lead for Gam, and their original initiation was pretty good. So Emo there just pretty easily interrupts Summit, and then we saw
we're
the rest
back
of
to
that
live,
fight.
and we're back to Summit in trouble here. He's going to try to get out of there. The Ziggs all comes down to cover, and we'll have to see how much Gam can get with the Red Bull Baron power play here. They do have some good wave clear with the Ziggs, but they're going to get split, and they're going to get pulled apart here as Emo's down towards that bot lane. Summit looking for an angle on Levi, can't find it.
Emo freely taking that bot turret. I believe he's deathless this series on the Yone, so he's been playing extremely safe and efficiently. And look at that Rumble burn.
The curtain is going to get called. Sayo has to flash out of there, and on the other side it's Emo. They're trying to CC him up, and they're trying to knock him down. And they got the kill. What can Summit get done here, though? He's CC'd up as well. Levi's into the back line. Summit's on the run. The TP's coming back from Kaney, but is it even going to be in time? He TP's into his death, only to watch his base crumble. Gam get a big fight. Easy Love flashes forward. Couldn't quite get in range for the forced shot there onto Lions. Thought he had the kill. It's up to the bot lane here from R7, but the deadly flourish is deadly indeed. It connects onto the Ziggs. They get the kill, and with that, they will secure the win. They will secure their spot in the Swiss stage. Gam do it. They're going to take the series 2-0 over R7. What a performance.
Damn. Insane.
Gam have dominated in this play-in
Good shit, Gam.
Undefeated, back-to-back 2-0s, and they cruise their way to the Swiss stage.
All right.
It's Gam time indeed.
Thank you for watching. We'll
The
see you
VCS
next time.
is back.